need the outlet for our rock tumbler.
Plug it in! Plug it in!
What, the rock tumbler or the TV?
The TV! The TV!
I thought my cable went out. And then all the credits, I was like, it's horrible. That was just such a bad ending.
Many of them are still disappointed.
The New York Times weighed in with a positive review, but the New York Post says Tony and gang whack fans.
Sopranos creator, David Chase, he got whacked in the headlines. He got whacked by the New York Post cartoonist who showed fans getting whacked. And Chase literally got whacked online.
A little disappointed. You know, I felt like after all these years we were faithful. I don't feel they were faithful to us.
HBO deserves a whack for ending The Sopranos with a fucking cut to black.
I thought the ending was horrible. It didn't answer any questions.
Everyone thought going through those people's minds, this isn't as disappointing as The Sopranos finale. There you go.
I gotta say right off the top, I did not like it. I was not happy with the ending.
We need something to make him mad. Really mad. Has he seen the last episode of The Sopranos yet?
A little disappointed, but I wasn't surprised.
Use this.
Oh, shit! Whoa. Tony marries Dr. Melfi? Mamma mia!
This guy lives in a 6-story building with about 20 apartments.
I can hear my entire building scream when,
What are you doing? Put that back.
Oh, fine.
The first round. Mosley, not yet.
Turn that off.
Endings for any story are important, but for a TV show that people have invested years into, sticking the landing is crucial, not just for the completion of the story, but the legacy the show will leave behind. There's 3 different endings for a beloved show. A well-received ending that cements the show's reputation as one of the greats, a divisive ending that destroys the show's cultural relevance, and a show that continues to be well regarded in spite of the lackluster reception of the finale.
You don't want to end up like this. Nobody wants to see it. Trust me.
This is how we should have ended the finale.
Oh my God, you're right. How did we not think of that?
So where does The Sopranos land? If you ask some people, especially back when the finale first aired, they would say it falls into one of the 2 latter options.
It's still one of the best shows of all time, but the ending was disappointing.
Or,
the ending completely ruined all those hours I spent watching the show.
I personally believe it's the first option. It's a great ending for a fantastic show that remains as critically acclaimed today as it was 20 years ago. Maybe even more so now, since people, for the most part, seem to have come around on the ending.
First everyone was like, I didn't like the ending. And then a week or 2 went by, and then people were like, well, you know, I got it. Oh, no, I really did. Like, oh, you know, that was really brilliant.
It's interesting to compare The Sopranos' cultural longevity to another HBO show, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, when it was first airing, was just as talked about in the pop culture zeitgeist as Sopranos was way back when it was airing.
When Moses wore short pants.
And had a pretty contentious reception to how it ended, equal to when The Sopranos first aired its finale. However, one still has a pretty sizable demand to be talked about to this day, with actors and the creator still getting invited on talk shows and interviews to discuss the show every few years for an anniversary, with 3 of the actors still touring regularly around the world to venues where people pay to hear them recall stories about filming the show, and the other has not had such demand. I believe this is due to the fact that The Sopranos ending seems to have aged well with people over the years, like a fine wine, and has become much more appreciated, helping continue its legacy into the foreseeable future. I think once you get past the initial shock of the sudden cut to black, and let it sit with you more, while giving the series another rewatch or 2, there is something substantive to take away.
There's a lot was written about it, you know. He doesn't care about his audience. He spit in the face of the audience.
Oh my God.
That was not our intention, was to say fuck you to the audience.
Because at the time, it seemed the main gripe people had with it was that they felt robbed of closure, that they'll never know what happened to Tony Soprano. I feel like this is a bit of a mischaracterization of the finale. The show does offer us evidence as to what Tony's fate could be.
2 endings for a guy like me.
Well, there's actually 3, but we'll get into that later.
There was only 3 possible scenarios for the ending.
The first option is
dead.
There's a lot of evidence that suggests Tony gets killed in this moment.
How about that prick's face when he saw the gat?
Throughout the final 9 episodes, there are not so subtle hints pointing at the unawareness one might have when they're killed. There's Tony and Bobby talking on the fishing boat.
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
There's your friend in there, on the wall.
And there's Silvio talking about how he didn't realize the person next to him was shot until after it happened.
Fucking scary thing was, I didn't know what happened until after the shot was fired.
Hinting that, I don't know, if you were to get shot and killed by someone sneaking up on you, you probably wouldn't know what happened. Almost as if the TV had suddenly gone out during your favorite program.
Oh! When the screen went blank and the grandmother said, I didn't do anything.
They even replay the Bobby quote at the end of the penultimate episode.
Probably don't even hear it when it happens, right? There's your friend in there, on the wall.
Another piece of evidence hinting at Tony's death is the way the final scene is edited. Basically, there's a pattern used throughout the scene. We hear the bell of the door going off. We cut to Tony looking over at the door, then we get a shot of Tony's POV as the person enters the diner. This happens throughout the scene as more and more people enter. Carmela, AJ, this random woman, this guy, who we'll talk more about later. Belle, Tony looks up, Tony's POV of the person walking in. The same thing every time. All the way up until we see Meadow run to the diner, setting off the bell as she enters, cutting to Tony looking over, and when we should be getting a shot of Tony's point of view. I wonder what that could mean.
He went in the witness protection program.
So if Tony is for sure dead in this moment, who killed him? The most common theory is this guy, in the members only jacket.
The jacket!
Mirroring how Eugene killed a guy in a diner wearing a members only jacket in the first episode of the season.
Look at this guy. Members only?
Throughout the final scene, we see him constantly looking over at Tony, almost like he's trying not to be too suspicious about it. The last time we see him, he's walking over to the bathroom on Tony's right, which would line up with the guy getting a good shot without Tony being aware of him. And it can be seen as a little nod to The Godfather, when Michael Corleone goes into the bathroom to get the gun, then comes out and shoots the two guys responsible for Vito's assassination attempt. A scene that has been previously referenced on the show before.
Every time we watch Godfather, when Michael Corleone shoots those guys in the restaurant, those assholes who tried to kill his dad, you sit there with your fucking bowl ice cream and you say it's your favorite scene of all time.
This also ties into another piece of evidence people like to point to, that being the 3 o'clock theory. 3 o'clock is commonly used in the show whenever a specific time is needed to be given.
The pit tomorrow, 3 o'clock.
What's going on?
Nothing I can think of, except it's Tuesday, 3 o'clock.
But the instances that are most important to this theory start with its mention in season 2, after Christopher is shot and wakes up in the hospital. He claims that he was in hell briefly, before he was revived, where he saw Mikey Parmisi, the guy from Junior's crew in season 1, who Paulie and Christopher killed. Christopher says that Mikey said to
Tell Tony and Paulie, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Skip all the way to season 6, Paulie arrives at the Bada Bing at 3 o'clock in the morning to meet somebody and has a vision of the Virgin Mary, an event that sticks with Paulie throughout the rest of the season, including his final scene where he tells Tony about it.
One time at the Bing, I saw the Virgin Mary.
So if that was meant to be the payoff for Paulie's 3 o'clock warning, what was Tony's? Well, if you remember, the last time we saw the guy in the members only jacket, he was heading to the bathroom to Tony's right, his 3 o'clock.
There it is! There it is!
If he was the one to shoot Tony, then who was he working for? Probably New York, even though they did seemingly agree to a ceasefire.
There really's not heat on them. It seems like the New York family kind of wants Phil gone anyway. So who really still coming after him? You know what I mean?
But I don't think it's that implausible. After the string of hits in the episode before, the New Jersey family is pretty weak and ripe for the taking over, as Phil had planned and Quasimodo predicted. The only thing that put a wrench into it was Tony still being alive, and with Phil hiding away, they were stuck in a stalemate, leaving both New York and New Jersey losing money, which is why Phil's guys end up turning on him and giving Tony the go-ahead to kill him.
Maybe... What? You talking about reaching out? We can't go back. Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, I know.
But I could totally see them double-crossing Tony, putting him in a false sense of safety, and taking him out when he least expects it, finishing the plan Phil started.
He got our attention. Now we wipe him off the planet. We take him out, absorb the whole fucking thing.
Sending the members-only jacket guy, someone outside their family, to whack him, which is a pretty common tactic used for whacking high-up leadership. like when they tried to take Phil out earlier in the season, or the plan to take out Carmine Sr. in season 4.
Here's how it works, I'm thinking. We bring somebody over from Naples, completely insulate ourselves. They do Rusty, they're back on a plane over the Atlantic 2 hours later.
Or maybe it was Patsy behind it, finally getting revenge for his brother all these years later. Or maybe it was Paulie, freaked out that Tony was considering killing him on the boat a few episodes before. We've seen underlings plan to take out their bosses many times, like when Johnny wanted to take out Carmine.
Did I take orders from him again? You're that disgusting fucking cocksucker idiot son of his!
And Richie wanting to take out Tony.
Break it down, Jim. What choice does he leave us?
We need allies to do what you're thinking about.
Or maybe it wasn't even the members only jacket guy who killed him. Could have been anyone at that diner. Ultimately, we'll never know. And if we're meant to take away that Tony got killed here, I guess that's kind of the point. Like the 2 quotes from earlier point out, if you were killed in a hit that was planned behind your back, you'd never know the exact details as to the who and why. I mean, imagine the perspectives of all the other characters who get whacked throughout the show. Can't wait to take my boat out. Hey, is that Tony? What is he? Boy, I'm in some deep shit. Let me go for a walk and...
Tell the goddamn pharmacist to call Dr. Iaconis. I should get a 60-day supply of the platinum.
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
The second possibility is that Tony
ends up in the can like Johnny Shack.
He's never been in the can. Not really.
If Tony isn't killed here or in the immediate future, this is most likely what will happen to him.
What's what the feds asked for Christmas?
What do you want for Christmas?
I want Tony Soprano on tape. You get nothing.
Fuck you, Santa!
This isn't going to take nearly as long to go through because it's pretty straightforward. At the end of season 5, when Tony was running away, as the FBI were arresting Johnny Sack, he threw a gun he had on him into the snow in case he was picked up. At the start of the second part of season 6, it's revealed that a kid saw Tony throw the gun away and picked it up. He was later arrested and ID'd the gun as belonging to Tony, which the FBI holds onto for when they have a stronger case against Tony.
You had to have your cheap headline, huh? Can you really not be aware we've been building a RICO case against Tony Soprano for 5 fucking years?
Fast forward to after Phil was found and shot and crushed. The son of Carlo, one of Tony's capos, gets arrested for possession of ecstasy.
His kid, Jason.
He got picked up yesterday, Betsy told me. For selling ecstasy.
Which the FBI uses to get Carlo to flip on Tony.
Giving grand jury testimony.
Which is not good news for Tony. With everything Carlo was a part of and had witnessed, Tony is pretty much screwed. As well as many others in both the New Jersey and New York crews, considering Carlo was put in charge of construction, which New York had a big hand in too. Legally speaking, things do not look great for Tony.
And subpoenas are flying. 80 to 90% chance you'll be indicted in that fucking gun charge.
But
there's a third way to wrap it up.
The third option is that everything will work out for Tony. He doesn't get killed and has a nice meal with his family, then goes on to stave off jail too.
Trials are there to be won.
This won't take long either, because there's nothing really to support this, other than the fact we've seen Tony in a similar position in season 2, when there was a witness placing Tony at the scene of the Bevilacqua murder. It didn't really look good for Tony then.
Shit! Did you see anybody? Did you see another living fucking soul?
Fuck no.
I've never seen you like this.
Like what?
Scared.
But fortunately for Tony, the witness didn't realize who he would be testifying against. And once he realized this, he quickly withdrew, changing his story, letting Tony off the hook.
You know that other party who said he saw something that we know didn't happen?
He realizes now he didn't see what we know didn't happen. Sleep well, my friend.
Now, obviously the same thing can't happen here, since the witness in season 2 was under no legal obligation to do what the FBI wanted, whereas Carlo is sort of stuck in this position. But the point is, it could happen, however small the possibility is. Maybe because Carlo testifying could bring down several other people within the two families, they all organize a way to silence him. A guy on the inside who knows where Carlo is? Get access to him that way? I mean, there was a reason the guy in season 2 was scared to testify.
This witness can't remain nameless forever.
You never know. It could happen. Junior was able to get around the legal system, and that's really the beauty of the ending. It leaves the exact fate of Tony up to you, the individual viewer, to interpret what you feel Tony deserves. The show often leaves room for the viewers to come to their own conclusions. David Chase is pretty open about preferring this kind of storytelling, something for your mind to chew on when you're done watching, rather than something spoon-fed and never thought about again.
You create this world and you're like, well, the series gives us a piece of the world. The world exists and everything's completed, but the audience just doesn't get to see every piece of the world.
Yeah, you don't get to see every piece of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like watching entertainment like that. It's not like some kind of snotty attitude like, oh, well, I have contempt for the audience. That's the kind of movies I like to go to see.
Even referencing 2001: A Space Odyssey as an inspiration for the finale, a film whose ending also leaves room for interpretation.
One of my favorite movies is 2001. I don't know who that baby in the bubble is.
But you like that.
But I like it.
It's almost kind of reminds me a little of Kubrick, like your style a little bit.
We talked about Kubrick all the way during making the last show.
People's level of sympathy for Tony can range all over the spectrum, based on what they've taken away from Tony's actions throughout the show, the good and the bad of it, and having an ending like this allows for the viewer to conclude what they believe Tony deserves.
You don't want to do Crime Doesn't Pay, because crime does pay. And you don't want to do Crime Does Pay, because crime is crime, it's wrong.
If you have absolutely no level of sympathy for Tony, you can view this as where he gets his ultimate comeuppance for all the horrendous acts he's done. Or maybe you don't feel he needs to die, but still should face some sort of justice. Well, more than likely, he'll be going to prison. Or, if you're ride or die with Tony no matter what, you can believe he'll somehow get out of this and continue to go on, rebuilding his family after the sizable hit New York did to it. If Tony can come back from his coma, there's a chance Sil can too.
In my thoughts, I use the technique of positive visualization.
I find it interesting that even people's reading of the ending can change over time.
When I first saw it, I thought it meant one thing, and then about a week later, I was firmly decided that he had been shot.
It makes me sad to think that Tony Soprano might have died.
I don't think he did.
You flipped again.
After today, yeah, watching the episode this morning, I was like, no. Did not happen.
They used to ask about the
finale?
The ending.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what do you think?
For a long time, I thought he was alive. But then after doing the podcast, interviewing, I think he died.
You think he got whacked?
I think he got whacked.
Which again is why the ending, and the show as a whole, is still on people's minds to this day. Because after 18 years, the fact that you can discover new revelations, or a different way to read it, just goes to show how much rewatch value the show has, and why it's still being dissected and discussed, with countless videos, including this one, continuing to be made to this day.
This show is going to live forever. Nobody's going to figure it out.
Some people view the ambiguous ending as a cop-out, but I don't see it that way. No more than any other piece of work cops out with an ending that's meant to be interpreted rather than being definitively stated. I know the meme is the show just cut to black in mid-sentence, implying that the show just randomly cuts off, leaving everything up in the air. But that's not even true.
Hey, Family Guy, you're lucky I got a man of gut in the oven, or I'd bash your face into a bolognese.
All the major plot elements were dealt with. All the major characters get scenes wrapping up their characters, showing us where their potential futures will be going, like most series finales do. Junior is in a home, slowly dying of Alzheimer's. Janice is up to her old tricks, trying to snake her way into getting more money. AJ seems to be on the upswing, working for Carmine Jr.'s production company. Meadow is going to be working as a lawyer with Patsy's son. By the time we get to the diner, everything's been wrapped up, except for the exact fate of Tony, which we've gone over. Plus, I do think there is something definitive to take away from the final scene, despite Tony's ultimate fate being left up to interpretation. First, we need to go over how David Chase had originally considered ending the show that then evolved into the ending we got. Recently, HBO Max again, released a 2-part documentary about The Sopranos and David Chase.
For the last scene, the first idea that I carried for a long time was that Tony was going to go back into Manhattan through the Lincoln Tunnel for a meeting, and that he was going to meet his demise there. If you were in the audience, you'd think, I don't think this is going to work out well for him.
I actually think we were pretty close to having this ending happen. Think about it. Can you recall a season that was supposed to end with Tony going into New York for a meeting?
Come into the city tonight, we'll sit down.
No offense, John, but I got an IQ of 136. It's been tested.
Tomorrow morning, then, my house, 6:30.
What?
You think I'm gonna give you amounts with Ginny upstairs?
A meeting that would have been called because the New Jersey family, and Tony in particular, had angered New York so much that it would make sense to whack him? Yep, I think this was supposed to be the ending of season 5. Initially, Chase wanted to end the show at season 5, but was talked out of it.
We thought season 5 was going to be the end. David was done. I said, David, look, I think part of the thing is you're really exhausted. I think you need a long break, first of all. Second of all, if we come back after an extended break, we could be anywhere. We could be 2 years into the future, man. And suddenly I saw the light go on in his eyes. He went, that's interesting. Now I'm interested. He goes, yeah, this could be anything. And I went, yeah. And I was like, kept hitting him. And by the end of it, he's like, okay, great. And the next day he called HBO and said, okay, I want to do one more season.
The entire plot of the season is Tony getting put in a position of being in New York's crosshairs and potentially leading the two families to starting a war.
You either deliver that brick to my door, or I will rain a shitstorm down on you and your family like you have never fucking seen.
And even to the point where his own guys are questioning their loyalty to Tony.
I'm willing to die for a good cause. This is bullshit.
Poor fucking Feach Lamana. Tony sent the wrong ex-con back to jail.
This is fucked up.
What do you want to do about it?
What do I want to do about it? I want that man there to do something about it.
Feeling that Tony cares more about his cousin than the rest of them.
Anthony Soprano was very adroit at keeping his family out of the fucking frying pan. Both cousins. The rest of us,
possibly giving them motivation to make some sort of under-the-table agreement with New York to look the other way if they wanted to take Tony out. The reverse situation of what happens in the finale, where the New York guys make a deal with Tony to look the other way when taking out Phil. And even though in the end Tony gave up his cousin, it wasn't in a way that resolved the situation with Phil.
Didn't solve a thing.
It's over, John.
The fuck it is. He's beside himself now.
The tension season 5 was building almost seems like it got put on pause until later in season 6.
You asked me to bury the hatchet, John. I'm doing it out of respect to you. Am I still grieving over my brother Bill? That'll never go away.
When the show could use it as motivation for Phil again.
I fucking compromised everything. No more Butchie. No more of this.
Anyway, it seemed at first Chase wanted an ending that would strongly imply Tony
meet his demise,
but instead shifted it to leave Tony's fate ambiguous. However, I still think it's meant to be read as a death scene. Just not Tony's. Ours. The viewer. Hear me out here. I obviously don't mean The Sopranos all of a sudden got Rick and Morty levels of meta in the final scene and broke the fourth wall by literally killing it. More like it seems Chase always wanted to leave us, the audience, with a very specific feeling. Whether or not it was meant to be read for Tony as well is up for interpretation.
But in this article about how life just sort of ends and you don't really know, we sort of looked in on this family at one point and we stayed with them for several years, and all of a sudden we're not with them anymore, and that was more the point as opposed to saying that Tony Soprano was rubbed out.
Toward the end of the documentary, Chase elaborates a little bit on what he was going for in the final scene.
And when I said, so I'm thinking about Don't Stop Believing. One of the lyrics in that song, the movie never ends, it goes on and on and on and on. So the universe goes on and on. You may not go on and on, but the universe is going to go on.
Basically saying that time never stops. It keeps marching forward and will continue to do so after us.
It's the same as when you die. Life goes on without you.
And contrary to how other movies and TV shows portray it, most of us aren't going to have great and memorable ends.
It won't be cinematic. It's not going to end well. And guess what? Even if he gets off, it doesn't end well. Life does not end well.
So enjoy life and all that comes with it while you can.
For fuck's sake, Paulie. Everybody's gonna get old and die.
Enjoy the company of your friends and family while you can, because at some point, either you'll be attending their funeral or they'll be attending yours.
A nice guy, but he's like the Grim fucking Reaper.
I know that sounds very nihilistic, but I think it's meant to be taken in a more positive way. We all right now probably have grievances about our lives. Maybe you're unhappy with where you currently are, wishing you'd be able to move up in the world quicker, fantasizing about how much better your life will be in the future. But decades from now, more than likely, you'll be looking back at this time in your life with nostalgia, the same way you currently do for periods of your life from 10 to 20 years ago, remembering
the little moments, like this.
How you have to max out the good times with the people you love. God, am I learning with them? Like, it's so true.
Fucking illness changed my whole viewpoint. I'm gonna stop and smell the roses.
We all should. From now on, every day is a gift. Whatever happened to stop and smell the roses? You're right.
You're right.
We need to learn to appreciate the present moment while we're in it, instead of always worrying about what's ahead and realizing too late that we should have appreciated the time now that it's gone.
The line that AJ repeats, didn't you say, remember, appreciate the good times? Life is precious, life is short, the fragility of it and all that. That's what I got this morning when I watched it.
You're absolutely right. And part of me would say that's bad, right? Because it was stated so bluntly. And yet people didn't hear
Don't talk about it.
Didn't hear it.
Our lives are a moment in time, and in the grand scheme of things, they last just as long. So enjoy it while you can, because let's face it, our death isn't going to play out like this.
Live long and prosper.
Or this.
Send me out with a bang.
Or even this. It'll probably be more like this.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!